Hey there, neighbor. Julie Stonefelt here, coming to you from my homestead in the Snoqualmie Valley of Washington State. It's the end of November here in Gardening Zone 8B, and I'm excited to give you a little bit of a tour of what's happening here in our garden and hopefully share some tips that you can use at home to extend the season at your homestead. So come on in. So we finished this garden at the end of August in the summer, and we were able to start planting seeds in late August, early September. And a lot of places, that's the time that the garden is wrapping up, dying down, closing up shop for the year. But in my zone, and maybe in your zone too, there's still a whole other growing season that a lot of people miss. And our goal is to be able to grow fresh food year round as much as possible, or at least extend that season. And we're doing that, and it's going really well. And in fact, we are getting several baskets this size of fresh greens every week. One of the things that you have to do if you're going to be growing in what's called the off season or the fall and winter season is to plant different types of seeds. That's also wonderful for you because you get more varieties, more than you could possibly get from a grocery store. So right now what's on for us is this beautiful radicchio and a winter brown butter king lettuce. We also have a dragon's tongue mustard. We have a really nice mild nutty arugula and even some baby kale. So it's just amazing to be getting fresh greens like this. And I'm going to show you a few things that we're doing here that are helping us to get this kind of bounty. And the first thing that you probably notice is this white stuff. And this is called egg cloth, remay. Sometimes people call it shade cloth if you're using it in a different season. And when I've worked on local farms, I've been working in places where you see just acres of this on vegetables, especially on lettuces. And here we're using it the same way that they use it on farms, just slightly different. And I like to think of it as a blankie. You know, all of us, as the winter weather comes and things get colder, we put on extra layers, and you can put extra layers on your garden too. So this comes in different ratings, which give you a sense of how much light gets in. So you always are going to need light, especially in the winter when there's less sunlight. So it's kind of a trade-off between warmth and light. So we want to find a balance between that. And I'm using what's called Ag 19. I bought some extra. You can put on an extra layer, but right now doing one layer is fine. And we've got 3 different options going. And you know, we're a family of scientists, and so we really like to experiment and explore, and so we've got some different experiments going here. The bed that's in front of me, we've got the egg cloth just right on the greens, and it's holding them up and clipped at the edges. Over to this side, we have some smaller hoops, and these are hoops that I bought at an online gardening supply company, just as is. And then over to the other side, on the north end of our garden, we have these hoops. And these big hoops, they're just made of 1/2-inch PVC that we bought at our local hardware store. And you can see that we're using all sorts of different clips, just that I got at my local Harbor Freight, to clip the egg cloth on. And the way that this is actually sitting inside the bed is part of the planning we did when we put these beds in. So if you come over here, you can see maybe a little bit here that in the bed, and if you watch one of our videos about putting this garden together, you saw this, but we have a 1-inch PVC pipe inside in the 4 different spots in each bed, and that allows us to put the PVC pipe inside of it. So that was what we did to plan ahead for these hoops. Now, there's, you know, various zones of gardening in our country and around the world, and different strategies and challenges that you can face in each of them. Here, we've already had a couple of really hard frosts. And during one of them, I came out in the middle of the day, and this stuff was frozen solid. And I lifted it up, and it kept its shape, and it was all crunchy. but inside my vegetables were still really happy. So it could work for a lot of places besides here. Now, right now, it's probably in the mid 40s. It's been raining off and on, and we just got these cool little hygrometers, which measures the temperature and the humidity, and there's one inside this bed. So it's helping us to kind of see how things are going in here. And let's see if I can dig it out. All right, so you can see it's about 93% humidity and 48 degrees in here. I would say this is at least a couple degrees warmer in this bed than it is in the air. And every little bit that you can help your garden is going to help it to last into a longer season. So like I mentioned, one of the really important things about growing in the off season or the winter season is making sure that you're choosing the right seeds. And one of the things that we decided to try this year is something I've never grown before. It's called a Schwarzer radish. And I wanted to grow it for a couple of reasons. One, like how fun is that just to say that name? And then the other reason is that it's a radish that does really well in the winter season and is a little bit different color and flavor. So I took a little peek before you came to visit, and it looks like some of them are ready. So I thought we could harvest our first radish together. So come on over here. They are in this bed. You can see they're doing really well. I actually did an experiment with growing them in the high hoops and then the low hoops. In the low hoops, they don't seem to be doing as well. The places where the leaves actually touch this get a little yellow, as you can see right here. But these ones are ready. So we just have this tucked at the end. We're gonna open it up. I think of this as like opening a present every time. You never know what kind of bounty you're gonna get. And you can just see how well these are thriving in our beds. So I'm gonna just gently move everything aside and look and see. I'm gonna pull this one, and this is gonna be a surprise for all of us. So here we go, our first Schwarzer radish. Now, I've seen these can get quite a bit bigger, but I also think that this is a perfect size to try and enjoy. So you can see that we put this in the ground, this little tiny seed, in the end of August, early September, and it's grown this beautiful radish for us to enjoy at the end of November. So I'd love to hear what you think of this video, what questions you have about our winter garden. Please leave a comment or contact us. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.